listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Thanks for tuning in again. I love it when we get to play together. I was thinking recently about how many times I've been hired by different clients to work on basically the same thing at the same time and what different results they get. And I was thinking about why. So I compiled a list of the things that master manifestors do different. And this is based on, how long have I been coaching? Not quite 15 years, I bet. And I've working full time with a lot of clients for quite a while, and my own manifesting experience, as well as through my studies and hearing success stories and reading about case studies. So when I think about what's the difference between two people who want the same thing, one who gets it, one who doesn't, I was like, well, the difference obviously isn't me, because they've got the same coach. But whether they're manifesting clients for their business or a move across the country or manifesting love, I started asking myself, all right, so let's look at what's going down different here. I've got a list of 5 things. The first one, boy, and this one really stands out. You know this too because you've experienced the magic of this one as well, and that's when we hold it lightly, when we don't make a big deal about it, like our well-being isn't at risk over whether or not we get this thing. That makes such a difference. In fact, I really, really like the inspiration from that country song by Bobby Pinson. I think it's called Fine Either Way. And he's basically singing about, I think his woman left. And he says something like, maybe she'll come back, maybe she won't. I'm fine either way. It sounds like a country song, doesn't it? You know what? I like that, though. I like that reminder that no matter what happens, it's all good. Like, if not this amazing thing that happens in my life, then it will be something else. And life is already amazing anyway, so you just don't get too attached when you have that perspective on it. You don't make it a big, hairy deal. So that's definitely one of the things that I see master manifestors do differently, and that's to hold their dream or their desire, hold it lightly. And that doesn't mean that you don't care whether or not it happens, but it's not the be-all, end-all. And having said that, I have manifested stuff that did feel like that. It was important. It did feel dire. And I will say that gave me extra incentive to stay positively focused. But that's kind of a tricky thing to do without introducing attachment. So it's just such a better vibrational party when we aren't caring too much, or we're not making it important. I know that can be easier said than done for some things that do feel really important. But if you can get the perspective on it, just remind yourself what really matters. Look, sometimes what really matters is the thing that we want. But I'm thinking, for example, when I usually get wrapped up, it's because I've got a sick animal on my hands, whether it's one of my own animals or a foster. Oh boy, do I really want them to do well. And that attachment, that's not holding it lightly. That's not being a real easy match for the outcome that I want. But when I remind myself what really matters, and that could be a tricky one, because it might seem like what really matters is that this dog recover or this cat come home or whatever I'm so anxious about. But that anxiety doesn't help. So I got to try and coach myself. I got to soothe myself into a softer place around it. Master manifestors are good at that. The second thing I noticed, those who are really good at successfully creating what they want, is that they feel worthy of it. They just have an expectation or a confidence, like they're lined up with it. It isn't something that they feel is too big for them, or like they don't feel like they're asking for that much. Even if to the rest of us, it might seem like they are. I'm thinking about my business partner's son. I was going to look up his URL. So he was like 8 years old, and he had a homework assignment to study business, and I think his mom figured the best way for him to learn that is to do it. So he started his own business, and he gets these T-shirts from the Goodwill store, and he sews them up into like backpacks. It's called tea bags or something like that. Oh, I can't believe I didn't look up the URL first. Anyway, so this guy, this 8-year-old kid, he puts together, his mom helps him put together a website, but he writes the copy, and it's adorable. Oh my gosh, the website is a freaking adorable. Anyway, once they got the site up and running, it was late at night. It was time to go to bed. And he said to his mom, as soon as they hit publish on the site, he said, "So when do I start making money, Mom?" And she said, "Oh, honey, you've got to do a lot of other things first. You've got to do promotion. You've got to do SEO. You got to do all these things to make your website visible and let people know about it." And apparently that didn't register too much, because she went up to go to the bathroom, and by the time she came back to the computer a little while later, like it was minutes later, he had, I don't know, like a half dozen or a dozen sales. I'm getting I don't know the exact numbers, but it was like ridiculous. It's not supposed to be that easy, but it was for him because he just had an expectation. I asked her about it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's master manifesting." And she said, "I know." We were talking about it, and what she attributed it to was, first of all, he was really excited to make some money. And second, he didn't know any better. He had an expectation that it would be that easy. And for him, it was. Those are high quality receiving skills. And I noticed that among master manifestors who are getting what they want left and right, they feel worthy of it. That worthiness is something we can cultivate. It's not either you have it or you don't have it. It is something you can cultivate consciously if you feel like maybe that's one area you've got room for improvement. I'm a big fan of that. If I don't have a podcast on that topic, I should, because that can be its own. I won't elaborate on how to do that now, but it's totally doable. I'm sure I've got blog posts on it. Anyway, third thing that master manifestors do different that I've noticed is they enjoy their way to what they want. They find a way to feel good now. You know how we always hear spiritual teachers telling us to enjoy the journey? I know that sounds like trite advice, but it's key. So many people, when they want something and their traditional actions haven't worked, that's when they turn to manifesting for it. They're going to use magic since all the other stuff hasn't worked. And when they come to it from that perspective, by then they're in a fair amount of struggle. Okay, I see this a lot because that's my sweet spot as a coach. I just described my perfect client. Someone who knows about law of attraction already, but isn't finding easy success with it for some reason or another. So I love working with, so I see it a lot. Anyway, that kind of, that struggle and that anxiety around it, when there's, Abraham tells us this, unhappy journeys don't have happy endings. It really is. We can only get what we vibrate. So we want to find a way to feel good now before we have this thing that we want. So along these same lines, what I've noticed that those who are really good at enjoying the journey, they have a very low tolerance for struggle or for efforting. That doesn't mean they don't take action, but it's inspired action. Let me think of an example of this. Like say someone was manifesting love, and they were going to start dating in their effort to create true love or romance of a lifetime. Okay, for some people, especially people who've done it before, they might not enjoy dating, but it's crucial. If you don't enjoy dating, you should not be dating. It's not going to take you anywhere good. So if finding a way to enjoy the process, or if you I'm trying to make sense here. I don't want to ramble too much. This is what happens if I don't stick to my notes really carefully. Say someone wanted to manifest love. Look, if you think you have to go start dating in order for that to happen, you're getting tangled up in a how. Maybe dating isn't required for you. If you aren't inspired to go to start dating, once you activate the vibration of dream come true romance or whatever it is that you're creating, then that means you don't need to do it. That's not part of your journey. But somehow, some way, whatever you engage, you want to make sure you're having a good time or you're enjoying it. I'm thinking about a client I had years ago who, this is exactly what she wanted. She had reasons to believe that it wasn't going to happen. I coached her around these things. And she didn't feel inspiration to go dating. I won't elaborate on why. But she understood the importance of having a good time. So she went out with girlfriends. She didn't go dating, but she went out with girlfriends. And it was shortly after I think it was like after our second session, she went out with friends for a night and she met the guy out there. And then she stood me up for like our next 2 sessions because she was having so much fun with this guy. She finally sent me an email with an update. It happened. It's happening. Having the time of her life. Okay. My point being, for this third thing that master manifestors do differently, it's finding a way to enjoy the process. It's a key one. The fourth one, it's that they're really good at not figuring it out themselves. They know how to let guidance lead. They know how to make room for universal magic. They don't get hung up on thinking they know how it has to happen. Instead, they let their inner being or universe or whatever you want to call it guide them to it. I like the way Bashar talks about it. I've mentioned this before. Bashar describes it as the physical mind versus the higher mind. He says the physical mind is not designed to know how. It's not its job. It's the higher mind's job to see that. It's got a much bigger perspective and it knows how to get us there. All we have to do is listen to that. And that's what inspiration is. That's whatever feels better, whatever offers us relief, or whatever sounds like fun. That's our inner guidance calling us to what we want. So I've noticed master manifestors who are really good at creating what they want are really good at this. They don't let the gremlin or their monkey mind run circles trying to figure it out their own selves. They know how to line up with it and then let inspiration speak and follow that inspiration, whatever it calls for. It's a skill. The fifth thing, I like this one a lot. It's a really skilled focus for what's going right. That's what master manifestors are good at. I'm thinking about Pollyanna as a really good example of this. If you haven't read Pollyanna, I highly recommend it. Yes, it is a children's book, but that girl is a role model for how to see things in a positive light. If you can pick up anything from her, you will be better off for it. So I've quoted him before, the guy that got kicked off Survivor in his exit interview. This is the former NFL player who was betrayed by his best friend in his exit interview when you're supposed to be so upset. This guy says, I have eyes for the gifts. He knew how to see what had gone right when in a moment where most people are really upset with swear words and tears and anger and revenge in their heart. He didn't have that. Oh, that's such a cool thing when we have developed that focus, when it's easy for us to land there. Like, the other day, I broke out in hives. I used to do that regularly back when I had a lot of stress. The other day, I got them again. I don't know why. And at first I was like, what are these here for? What am I doing wrong? Why is this happening? That's a focus that wasn't super positive. I mean, maybe there's some helpful information from hives, but that's a different vibration than concluding, what am I doing wrong? And instead I started thinking, wow, how long has it been since I had hives? Like, it was kind of cool to just think back on, I don't even remember the last time I got these. That's a different focus. You could probably feel the difference in the vibration in that. The other day, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. I had my hair in a ponytail, and I looked like a wild woman. I was like, what is wrong with my hair? And it was because it wasn't all fitting in the ponytail. Like, it wasn't, I don't have long hair. It all fits in ponytail. No, it wasn't all fitting in the ponytail. And I was, when I took a better look, I realized, you know what? My hair's growing. Like, this is like, these are short hairs. They're new hairs. They haven't grown out all the way yet to fit into the band. That's a good thing because I like thick hair. And in the past, when I have lost hair from adrenal fatigue, it has been really nice to see hair growing back. So just turning thoughts around so that we're looking at half full instead of half empty. It's a simple thing, but it makes a big vibrational difference. Anyway, those were the list of things that I came up with when I asked myself, and I've got 2 clients working on the same thing at the same time. One nails it and the other, it just continues to elude them. I was like, all right, what's the difference? Clearly, it's not just that they got a cool coach. They both have cool coaches. That's the list I came up with. I hope you find something in there inspiring. Hey, speaking of inspiring, if you haven't already given me your email address, I'd love to keep you apprised of cool things, whether it's new podcasts or blog posts or cool manifesting stories. I don't email very often, not even once a week. That's sometimes what I'm shooting for, but it's usually more like 2 or 3 times a month in a good month. But if you aren't already getting that, just go to goodvibesubscribe.com, give me your email address, and I'll hook you up. Thanks for listening and happy manifesting. Bye, everyone.